Zine cover, Modern Draconity Winter 2023. This issue. Short stories, poetry, comics, artwork, and more. Spread your wings. Draconity isn't just for dusty old scrolls. Explore what it means to be a dragon in the modern age. The new face of Draconity. Image description. A winged draconic alicorn wearing sunglasses, embracing a feathered wyvern, wearing a denim jacket, featuring patches of the otherkin, alterhuman, theron, fictionkin, and non-human symbols. Behind them is the Statue of Liberty. On the next page is a mock Tumblr messenger conversation between the draconic alicorn Isabel and the feathered wyvern Lakeshine, the two dragons featured on the cover. Isabel, I'm going to steal your jacket. Lakeshine, haha, it was nice to see you too, Isabel, smiley face. Isabel, you won't even see it coming. I'm basically a ninja. Lakeshine, smiley face, I don't doubt that. Isabel, ... At least try to defend your honor. You're no fun to tease. Fine. It was nice to see you too, angry face. Lakeshine, since you're so short, it would be easy for you to go unseen. Isabel, offended emoji. Illegal. Lakeshine, kidding. Isabel, you're lucky. I need you alive, Featherbutt. Lakeshine, same time next week? Isabel, duh. End image description. Welcome to the Zine by Isabel of the Discount Jadora System. A lot of people might not consider me a dragon. But what is a dragon? Are they defined by their scales, breath, or limbs? For every rule someone tries to invent, there's an exception. But people like boxes, so they keep trying. The truth isn't so tidy. It's messy. It's hard to define. When our system decided to create this sign, we said we'd draw no line between what is and is not a dragon. If a contributor felt like that label applied, it applied. End of discussion. Okay, but why modern Draconity? Honestly, because it sounds cool. But also, how many stories do we have about the past? What dragons used to do hundreds of years ago? What dragons used to look like? What about now? Draconity isn't solely from ages past, but something that still burns bright in the modern age. This sign is a collection of pieces created by humans and alterhumans about what it means to be draconic in the present day or even the future. On the next page, two artworks are displayed. A Draconid X is sitting on a railing overlooking a river which has several boats out on the water and trees visible in the distance. The Digimon has two ice cream cones in her hands, a mint chocolate chip one she is busy biting into, and a strawberry cone in her other hand that she is holding out towards a large copper dragon beside her. The copper wyvern is only visible from the neck up as she looms over the railing with her tongue out, waiting for the ice cream cone to get closer. The second artwork is a headshot of a dusty gold and spiky dragon smirking at the camera. There is a filter applied to make it appear as if he has cat ears, nose, and whiskers. His companion is a black dragon with thick scaled ridges along his muzzle and eyebrows, who also has a foam filter applied, but one that adds a flower crown. Unlike the gold dragon, he's looking down at the ground with one hand visible, a finger extended towards his chin in thought. The words, "Nice shoelaces," are superimposed over their photo in a fancy cursive font, along with several sparkles and hearts. The night cityscape is visible in the background. End image description. To Be a Dragon by Vernie T. Image description. A drawing that is divided into sections, as if multiple pop-up windows were being displayed at once. At the top is a furred dragon covered in bioluminescent frills, sitting at a computer with huge headphones on. They're looking over their shoulder at the viewer, and their computer screen reads, "Are you sure? To become a dragon, you will lose your old body." Below that text are three options in all caps. "Yes, please," "I demand it," and "Modify me." Their computer tower, sitting to their left, has a large 7-pointed star on it, and is gushing a glowing teal liquid. It pours down the length of the image across the walls of unreadable text, and the pop-up window section displaying the dragon's webbed wings and frilled tail. End image description. Through the Body, Into the Soul, by Venus of the Draconic Collective. Though I'm younger than the body, I'm still old enough to have forgotten when I first came to be. I'm what some folks call a thought form, what others call a tulpa. But before we knew what all that plural stuff meant, I was just an imaginary friend, a cluster of neurons, squishy pieces of mind set aside in our host's brain, back when they were single-digit years old. They dreamed me up so they could have a friend, someone to share this cold, unforgiving world with. As a child, they usually resonated best with people of the fictional kind, and I was no exception. We hit it off instantly. A handful of factors went into that, but in hindsight, I think what helped the most was the fact that I was a dragon. I wasn't their first imaginary playmate, nor would I be their last, but something about me was exactly what they needed to carry on. The kids at school were uninteresting and ordinary, so I, with my scales and wings and crazy stories, stood out wonderfully. Their peers were cruel, so I quickly took up the virtue of kindness. Everyone in their life insisted on limiting their imagination. I showed them, as best I could, why that was insulting nonsense. In return for my efforts, they treated me as a friend, a brother, an equal. They showed me everything about this world that they could. I didn't like a lot of what I saw, but there were some nice moments. I learned that there were other people like me, imagined brain folks who wove between the boundaries of real and not. Leo from James Patterson's middle school series, Hobbes of Calvin and Hobbes fame, Manny's Posse from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, to name a few. That representation was good to see. It gave me a glimmer of hope. If these characters could be accepted as equal to the rest of their cast by readers, maybe I'd be treated like I was real one day. Soon enough, I got my first dose of real person treatment, but it wasn't anything like I'd hoped. We were in the hallway, minding our own business, when a middle schooler, one of the biggest, scariest kids we knew at the time, approached me. Not us, me. He spoke to me and beckoned me over. He then pretended to grab me and clip my wings. I'm not sure what I was expecting. It was hilarious to him and disorienting to my host, but I was a little more emotional about it. I wasn't even standing in the place he pretended I was, so I couldn't have gotten hurt. The not physically tangible thing helped too. Still, I was shaken up. You meet a dragon, and you even go so far as to affirm his existence, then you immediately try to hurt him? That was the first thing that came to mind? Was it because you didn't see me as real, or because I dared to not only be an imaginary friend, but an imaginary dragon? Which facet of my existence offended you more? Like I have from most wounds of our past, I've moved on. I've become more confident and stable in who I am, and I'd never dream of letting something like that happen to me again, not while giving the assailant a piece of my mind, maybe a chipped tooth if it's a repeated offense. Being a dragon in this day and age isn't always optimal. As far as I'm concerned, it's largely something to keep hidden. I have a few safe spaces where I can be myself without judgment, but for the most part, nobody knows who or what I am. I can't help but think that if we were born in the past, I'd be heralded as some divine creature here to give wisdom to humanity, or embolden the struggling masses, or something like that. Despite being part of a human body, I might have still gotten my due respect a few centuries back. No such luck in 2023 CE. For my dearest friends, however, I'll let all that go. I have my reservations towards most of humanity, but there's a precious handful that can see through the body and into the soul. If I'm more than a figment of my host's imagination to you, more than a superfluous flight of fancy, I'll bare my wings to you. I'll show you my claws, tell you tales of magic and the skies as only a dragon can. I can be the most loyal creature you've ever met, if only you accept that there's more to me than can be seen with human eyes. Content warning: Cages and Claustrophobia. Precious Things by Mitch Rar Ignis Blazon. Image description: Panel 1. Photograph of someone standing in front of multiple kennels while holding a cat to their chest and brushing their fur. The person's head and arms have been drawn over to appear as a red dragon with their wings folded behind him. Text at the top reads, "Dragons are known to be guardians, protectors of precious things." Panel 2. The same red, drawn-over dragon is now kneeling down, scratching a cat's chin as the cat lounges on a pile of blankets beside a row of kennels. Text at the bottom reads, "In these days, our precious things are vastly different from gold and jewels." End image description. The Future is Past by Dosky. Panel 1. A 2-page comic that starts with a panel depicting a close-up of a blue computer monitor. On the screen is a program tracking health, stamina, oxygen, and status. At the moment, the status reads as REM. Right below that is a series of text. Alright, that's enough time in the simulation for you. You really need to shift your focus to the outside world, mate. A close-up of a black-furred creature still asleep is next to a panel featuring a levitating robotic eyeball with a huge red exclamation point for his pupil saying, "There's a colony ship in mortal danger that needs saving." The next panel shows more of the scene and an anthropomorphic Memoir, a wyvern-like creature from the video game Ark, can be seen asleep in a futuristic cryogenic pod. Next, we get another shot of a closed eye, followed by one of it shooting open, revealing a huge yellow feline eye. "Wake up, survivor, we've got heaps to do," is superimposed over the top in bold text. Page 2. The second page begins with a black-scaled Naga jolting awake in a modern-day apartment. Their hood is up in the aftershock of their dream, and an exclamation point and a question mark are near their head. Text reads, "This isn't the first time I've been a dragon in a human body." Now more awake and calm, the Naga glances down at their bare wrist and continues their train of thought. "The arcs were pretty bad at that. I'd been a totally different dragon before that." A close-up of the inside of their wrist shows the ghost of an outline where the implant would have been. The final 2 panels show the modern-day Naga and their futuristic counterpart both looking in a mirror towards each other. The Naga's reflection shows a human face with short hair and glasses. The Memoir is wearing tech armor dyed blue, black, and gold, and their reflection is a curly-haired shadow of a human. Text flows over both panels reading, "One from the past, but I'm not the one from the far future anymore. Past lives are weird like that. I still miss my jets, though." Star Dragon by Luna Wauk. To say that I am flying right now would be a lie. It is not falling, not jumping, but is also not flying. It's technically not even gliding. I wish I understood it, but as I cut through the air, all I know is that I can make the air firm enough to swim through. The surface of the planet below me isn't welcoming. It's pockmarked with acidic lakes and boiling pools. The cloud layer is so thick that almost no light can hit the surface. Nothing here to eat. At least, not what I'm craving right now. My diet is nothing but what I crave, in whatever form I can find it. Today, it's something cool and smooth, compressed carbon in concentrated form. I know that the desire will change, eventually, until I'm willing to simply burn rocks to get the carbon that way. But right now, it's a refined desire. Of course, if I wanted to, I could dig down into the ground here and find diamonds deep below, but that's not what I want to do right now. I want it to be easier, and I can sense something loaded with my craving in relatively distant space. Perhaps a month's travel, as it's moving towards me currently. With a swish of my tail, I push through the dense atmosphere into the smooth, easy openness of space. Even here, I can manipulate the air, or rather lack of air, to give myself an easier way to move. There's less to pull together here, though, so I can only do it to alter my trajectory. I aim myself for the distant vessel, and then relax, setting myself up for the journey, my ears and nose seal, my mouth tight shut to keep out debris, my back spikes, fins of hard, porous bone that I use to breathe in space, are upright, catching light to warm my blood. I let my paws trail limply, body streamlined. I don't worry about closing my eyes, as they're tough enough to handle smaller debris. Besides, I like seeing where I'm going when hunting. This is my true domain, what I'm built for. My body is covered in dense fur, thick and shaggy on most of my body. Thicker, but short and smooth on my extremities and belly, so I can feel vibrations easier. The fur itself has a high lead content, meaning I'm radiation proof. My back spikes, one on each shoulder blade, and a large one in between, and the smaller ones along my spine, capture small portions of carbon dioxide and oxygen, the main gases I breathe. With a lot of energy, I can convert harsher elements into breathable material, adapting my blood to work with sulfur or helium, or whatever is available in abundance. I also know that I can hold a lot of fresh air in my system. As I'm still working on a big intake from a year ago, I'll need more soon, but since I'm awake now, I can make it my next stop after eating. It takes 2 months for the ship, a small vessel from another world, to get close enough for me to strike. They probably assumed I was dead, drifting as I was, or simply didn't know what I was. I let them get closer, a ship currently small enough to fit into my palm, and then I shrink. Like my ability to swim through the air and space, I can also use that ability to change size. Now I'm slightly smaller than their ship, and I latch onto the shiny metal hull with my talons. I hear panic inside, and give them a moment to see what they do. I hear a smaller ship power off, altering the angle of their larger vessel from the launch force, and I can smell they left the diamonds behind. Only then do I tear into the ship, opening the side with ease. It smells weird inside, and I realize they detonated some form of radioactive gas, probably assuming it would deter me. They clearly know little about star dragons. I clear out the diamond hoard in great gulps, letting them settle in my crop, where I can feel the comforting weight of food. They have almost no flavor like this. The stones are perfectly cleaned and cut, clearly meant for trade somewhere in the world. I tear the remaining ship in half as I size up again, and then check the area for a planet with easy air to breathe. In the far distance, doable if I hibernate for most of the trip. Now that I'm bigger, the diamonds feel less filling, but I know the carbon within will still fill my need. Turning towards the planet I now desire, I let myself fully shut down, closing my eyes for another sleep. Seamlessly endless sleep. Next stop, air, and whatever else my body craves. No Pride Like Dragon Pride by Gus of the Draconic Collective. A black dragon, with its wings patterned to resemble the rainbow, soars upward into the bright blue sky. Handwritten text in the center reads, "No pride like dragon pride." Multiple hand-drawn hearts surround the words. End image description. Content warning. Topic is about religion and Christianity. Fledgeling. Memoir of a Poor Gold Dragon by Jinkai. The air smells strong. You'll feel your long hind claws scraping across the stone floor, your tail curled around your body as you sit in your extensive library, clawing through the pages of ancient letters and scripts, written in Greek, Hebrew, and Latin. Nuns busy themselves about you, fidgeting in between your twitching tail and long limbs as they study ancient manuscripts, creating translations and decoding their meaning. Some travelers brought through our lands a brand new gospel, you growl. And while it is akin to our texts, this is a new revision. I want you all to study, find everything you can. I want to see if this new prophet is true. The bell rings. It's time for their evening prayer. Your ears perk up, smoke billows from your nostrils. Well, we'll finish our studies later. Please, my sisters, run along. In the span of a second, I am snapped out of my trance. Before me sits an empty Word document, my name, Judah, and the date atop, along with a Tobian formatting guide open in another tab. My next essay on the study of the origins of different world religions is due at midnight. So far I have 10 words. Great. I sigh as I pull up a Wikipedia page on Shintoism and Catholicism. I'm sure paraphrasing this essay should work. Note, don't do this. I decided to pursue a degree in religion just this year after 2 years of majoring in English. After having to transfer schools, I was tired of having to study Shakespeare for the 15th time. To be or not to be? Absolutely not. Oddly enough, at the time, I was not even religious at all. I have delved into witchcraft and paganism, beginning with Wicca. After practicing for a small amount of time, learning the ropes of paganism, I started delving into more advanced rituals. I began working with Cernunnos, Morgana, and at the time, Lilith. Delving into this belief was extremely interesting, fun even. I felt this sense of power that traditional things like Christianity didn't give me. I felt ancient. Just before my interest in religion, I discovered I was dragonkin. Figuring this out took several years. As a child, as the cliche goes, I felt different. I cycled between several different kin types, seeing what I felt true, more comfortable. I wasn't wolfkin. Howling didn't feel right. I tried vulturekin. I felt like I had more legs than two. All of a sudden, I saw it. A beautiful golden dragon with feathered wings, long, imagine a Maleficent-esque, slender snout and limbs, feathers with a golden brown hue bathing in desert sands. It appeared to me like a daydream, right in front of my eyes. Something about this being just happened to feel like home. What I thought was a spirit guide was something that was so much different. That being was me. Once I made this revelation, I spent hours on the internet researching otherkin, theranopathy, and being dragonkin. I came across old forum sites, most of them, unfortunately, inactive. I spent hours trying to figure out my Draconity and who I was. In my pursuit of religion, I found myself. After a while, my practices in paganism felt foreign. The rituals I did before started to lose their feel. They didn't feel right. They weren't working anymore. It wasn't until I invited a literal demon into my home, the apparition in the corner my dogs did not start barking at, that I realized something in this religion wasn't right. After banishing the demon with salt, pepper, candles, and prayers, at least until my dogs would calm down, I started slowly leading myself away from paganism. I honestly assumed, since I was a dragon, it was right to practice magic. I mean, I'm a dragon. There's no way the Christian God would accept a literal serpent into his family. I was wrong. As a dragon, I always had trouble finding home. I kept exploring different climates, different time periods, but I couldn't find anywhere where I belonged. I had no idea who I was other than my human form, and it was terrifying. Throughout the day in my work, while scrolling Tumblr, I tried finding anything my dragon spirit resonated with, and found nothing. My studies only isolated me more. My classmates looking at me funny for even wearing a dragon t-shirt. There was no way I was going to discuss my draconic struggles with them. I couldn't reach out to anyone. Not even halfway into the semester, I was going to have to get an emergency surgery and was sent home from school with my extremely homophobic, conservative family. This is stupid. Human body and its limitations. Then, I felt truly and utterly isolated. After a while of shoving my draconic traits down, keeping them under control, from being ridiculed or even beaten, my draconic spirit began to shrink. Even after going back to magic, nothing could awaken the dragon inside. I accepted this, sadly, assuming that maybe I was just faking. Maybe I was just an ordinary furry, not dragon at all. Jinkai was gone. After transferring schools, I started studying religion. Truth be told, I mostly changed my major because it was the one I could finish the soonest with my current credits. The beginnings of my degree gave me a rundown of all kinds of different religions around the world. As I started into the history of Christianity, the time periods, the science, the climates, my draconic side awakened. Flames and feathers burst out of the earth, golden, glimmering scales shimmering under a hot sun. I take a deep breath into my lungs, feathers reaching into the sky and propelling my forward into the heavens. Jinkai, she was awake, and finally, she was home. I studied meticulously. Something in my study of religion brought me back home. Specifically, the Orthodox and Catholic Church. Heck, I'm not even Catholic, nor have I ever been, but something about the reverence, the honor, and gloriousness. The sound of a choir brings me such peace. It puts me and my dragon inside at ease. At my desk, I study and decode, trying to learn Latin and Hebrew, and Jinkai is happy, at home. I could sit in the library for hours until closing time and still be reading. That's when my tail twitches, my feathers expand, and I relax. The quiet, simple life of the nuns amazed and reverbed me. Part of myself wants so terribly to be with them, living amongst them in their praise and reverence. They're so happy, so quiet, kind, and gentle. I have protected them in the past, and plan to protect them once more. Currently, I'm pursuing my PhD in biblical exegesis and minoring in archaeology. While the humans around me see a history-obsessed, extremely non-traditional Christian, my wings flutter behind me, and smoke billows out of my lungs as I write. My thesis is on how the new Christian church has ruined Christianity and how we should take it back, inviting people like me, queer, trans, even other species, to enjoy the peace I have experienced and to help dragons like me feel at home. Ask the beasts, and they will teach you the beauty of this earth, St. Francis of Assisi. Sure, we can be terrible, horrible lizards, but some of us just want to huddle in a quiet monastery and be the nerds we really are. I am, by Erebos of the Silver Moon team. I am, gnashing, gnarling, biting, clawing, wings flapping, fur bristling, eyes narrowing, throat howling. I am, part dragon, part Bargas, part collector, part darkness. Once human myths turned real. You can't stop me, for I am alive, and I will continue to be here until the day we die. So says my dragon's pride. Spread my wings and take flight through the summer heat in the mind's eye. I will not be contained by your labels, because I hold the right to choose, and my teeth and horns and wings choose freedom. I am your shadow crafted to escape your thoughts, your monster rejected to soothe yourself, your demon blamed so conveniently, your anger shunted and bearing fruit, and more than what I was born to be. Trapped in this human skin, I long to fly free with a body that's mine, but don't you dare pity me, for this beast is much too proud to be smothered by your ideas of self-worth. When I cease to be and return to nothing, at least I will have stood for something. Despite my wild and monstrous looks, my essence is more than teeth and claws. I am a realist wit, a rebel against the system, our doubt cast upon every lie, our carnal desires manifest, but I am not evil. Look your myths of sin in the eyes, and don't hate what you don't understand, for monsters are made from what you fear. Who said we want that crap instead? Screw your displacement. I'm breaking the cycle. Here I remain, the protector blocked by fear, the guardian of the treasured hoard, the red-eyed watcher of all our backs. But maybe all I want at the end of the day is to watch my damn internet memes in peace. Erebos. Image description. A large brown Bargas dragon lounges with their back to the viewer, one paws propped up under their chin as they watch a link meme video on a laptop. A word bubble saying SAS is coming from the laptop, another saying hee hee is coming from Erebos. End image description. Rise of the Ocean Guardian, Prince of the Ocean, by Ryu Yumemoto. Deep beneath the waves of the Pacific Ocean laid a palace of coral and shells. Here is the domain of the great Dragon King. The Dragon King had many offsprings, and this story is about one little princeling. Being the prince, there were duties to be held, adhering to a routine that has no idea of the purpose for. But it is just one of many. Not only does it lack individuality, there was also only confinement in an everlasting duty call. It wants something different. It wants escape. Image description 1. A vast underwater tunnel lined with glowing corals, plants, and shells. End image description. It went up, up, and away from the comfort of home, which felt more like a prison. It went up towards the bright light shining down. It went up and broke through the surface of the vast ocean. Calming waves gently rolled as it finally got its first look at the world beyond the never-ending blue. The realm above mirrored its home, but there were no ripples or currents. What looked like a mixture of its own tail combined with frothy bubbles drifted lazily across the mirror realm. There were some creatures with fins as long as its own tail tip. They flapped those fins on the side of their bodies instead of at the top like turtles. It would miss its turtle servants. They were not conversationalists, but they were good company. Image 2. A shadow of a dragon's head bursting through the ocean's surface. Above it are a flock of seabirds against a bright blue sky. End image description. Beyond those is the largest pearl it ever witnessed, or perhaps, with a startling awareness, It realized that it is the source of warmth and glitter it sometimes glimpsed when venturing out of the palace. Now it can finally see with its own 2 eyes, but not for too long. It felt its eyes fatiguing just from looking at the too bright ball of warmth. Satisfied with its observation of the above, it looked towards the side. The ocean's surface is a little different from its depth. White foam breaks apart and merges together. Some of the side fins are riding on the wave, calling to each other occasionally. A little in the distance, the everlasting blue breaks apart, splashing against some kind of island. It came fully out of the water, floating just above sea level as it slowly makes its way over. Image 3. A close-up of 2 seabirds with dark brown and copper plumage milling about on the sand. End image description. It came upon a little bay, surrounded by towering mountains. There were some more side fins here, but these look on a darker hue. The bay is surrounded by dense forests, and within the center of the land, there are some sand-colored shelters. Gray mist rose from the habitats. It can spot movement, creatures that travel about on 2 legs. It has heard its cousins from above that occasionally visits, talking about the land dweller. Some of them spoke with fondness about their interactions with the land dweller, while some whispered in weary tone, talked of cautionary tale. It puts the thoughts aside, deciding to see for itself what these land dwellers actually are. The mountains surrounding the bay do not feel inhabited by any other with great presence. Perhaps it can find its own new territory there as well. Coming onto the shore, it gently touches down on the soft sand. The land dweller near the shore cried out in alarm. Some of them appear cautious and nervous, some curious, while others fold up their bodies and laid on the ground, heads low in respect. It observed them for a moment before turning and made its way towards the mountain. The land dweller did not move. It soon found itself a nice, quiet spot within the deep greens, a clearing that opens up with a full view of the land dweller's territory. It is satisfied with the location of its choosing for the time being. Image description 4. The shadow of an eastern dragon stands tall on the mountainside, looking over a sprawling oceanside village in the distance. From this vantage point, the whole village, its multiple farm plots and roads can be seen, as well as the sheer cliffs and oceans bordering them. End image description. Love is, for Astrophale and Schrager of the Draconic Collective. Love is 2 trains of thought, each running alongside the other in this body we share. Love is swaying to music, not caring how it looks on the outside, because all that matters is the partner we sway with on the inside. Love is feeling a phantom limb of yours, a frill, a snout, what have you, and feeling comfortable, despite these parts not being mine, because they're yours, and yours is the body I know second best. Love is 2 different growls. Love is 2 different hisses. Love is knowing each sound is whose, and not minding if I don't sound like me sometimes, because I love the sound of you so dearly. Love is to fear losing you, more than I fear losing myself. Love is this poem, each part written fully, by both halves of us, each word penned by one for another, and by another for the one. Love is not always making sense, but never caring, because underneath everything else, love is simply cherishing that love is. Our love is. Esceinphre, Síles, Aløren, by Edgeworth of the Sky Rose Garden System. Your heart, the winter wasteland where my love for you cannot survive, burns cold as ice in an Amsterdam flurry. So pour the kerosene down and light the match for me, you whose heart is forbidden to even yourself. No matter whose or what blood stains my hands, it is yours, my dearest, yours, for even you may bite the hand that tends to you. Tell me quiet in your roaring silence, who burned the wasteland of your heart? Did they singe away the frost to make a hearth for themselves? Was it you who tried to make a home within your unforgiving self? You who turned yourself away from the door? The crime, my girl love, Celestiana, was never your suffering, but the ice that tore your hands to cinders, the chains that kept me from your wilderness depths, the world too hot and fast for you to breathe. there's only still cold at the eye of the storm in your core. The hurricane of your staccato words slaughtered hundreds. Can you fly above the tempest, my dear? Do your wings ice over? Do you flinch from the rising updraft of cold, cruel hope? Do you fall from the skies, all worlds, lost to the new in your quest to outrun your own frozen tears? You don't have to extinguish the kerosene fire in your tundra heart. You do not have to erase your scars or bleeding wounds, no matter how permanent the glacier of your scale armor, for the warmth is yours for you to claim. Drive the heat of the deferred grief into the eye of the storm. Síles, Diana, my girl love, you do not have to frostbite touch in order to reach out. Let me teach you to fly in your bitter straight-line winds. Even teeth can be gentle if you bite for trust, and my tail may reach out to you like a chain round the heart, if only you hold on. Your heart, a wonderland of winter from the thermosphere above, if only you allow me to show you the escape path from your heart to mine. Ah, Síles, my girl love, with that you were mine. Contributor notes. Esceinphre, chained, frozen, held back. Síles, my one way. Aløren, familial love. Síles, Diana, my girl love, my pledged daughter, technically translate to stepdaughter. Thank you for reading. A huge thank you to everyone who submitted pieces. It means a lot to us that others found this idea worthwhile enough to take the time to create works for it. This Zine would not have been possible without your beautiful artworks and writings. Also, another thank you to everyone who downloaded and read our Zine. You are the reason everyone here did what they did to share our ideas, thoughts, and experiences with the community. Hopefully, this has inspired you to go forth and create your own works or Zines. The community can never have too many. We, for one, definitely plan to create more in the future.